Hello everybody. Welcome to Medieval Monday. Woo! Yay! All right. Slight apology. This Medieval Monday is coming out after a bit of a hiatus. And believe it or not, it's actually because of this series. I am, for context, not a historian, and you should not take anything I say in this episode as historical fact. With that being said, welcome to Medieval Monday. Here's the title song. Yes, welcome. Well, thank you. Please, everyone, quiet down. Stop. This is Medieval Monday. And I am the CEO of the entertainment industry. Well, actually, I'm the CEO of ABN Productions, which makes me the creative director of the entertainment industry. It also makes me the creative director of this channel, Cody Vibes. Ow. I'm sure there was some amazing, awesome graphic that played after that happened. This week in Medieval... Oh, I haven't even really introduced this series or explained why I'm late to make this video. As I was saying, I'm not a historian. And history, I want to do this series well. You know, I want anybody who watches like longer format history videos that I make to actually be informed with real history. And quite frankly, I'm bad at finding primary sources. And all I'm doing is going off of research I found on the internet, which is not the most reliable. It also leads a lot of kind of holes in the story of what actually happened. So I was kind of going back through that first Medieval Monday video, like realizing its shortcomings. And I'm gonna take more time on the actual sort of like hand-drawn history stuff and like larger episodes of this kind of history. But I thought, you know, in the meantime, I still want to talk about the history that I'm uncovering, and hopefully you still want to listen to it. So we're gonna be doing a sort of lighter show about medieval history. And it's just gonna be what I like read, and it's gonna be kind of off the top of my head. So there aren't gonna be major sources. I'm not really gonna cite a whole bunch of stuff, and you should not trust a single word that really comes out of my mouth because not a historian. Okay, this does not in this, you know, equivocally. Anything I say, you can't believe to be true without further research, okay? If anyone who's watched this hears somebody quote my opinion on it, tell them that they're dumb. Please, I'm not doing this to spread more misinformation. Yet, I'm not the most informed about this topic, okay? And I'm at least going to take this little bit of time to be very clear that I am not qualified to speak on any of this. Good. So we're all up to speed. Anyway, so like I said, this is going to be a light, casual series that no one should take particularly seriously about fun little medieval history things that I find along the way that I feel like I can kind of reduce into stories. And this week's big question for Medieval Monday is, what the hell is wrong with King John? That was in Avignon, Angevin. He was an Angevin king around the turn of the 13th century. I believe his reign extended from 1199 to 1217, and he's, as far as I'm aware, the only King John of England. Because he did such a bad job, nobody wanted the name King John ever again. Could you believe that? Could you believe doing such a bad job that no one ever takes your name? You know, there are like a billion Henrys, one John, 'cause he sucks. And it's also kind of sad in a way. I kind of wish there were another King John, because like I feel like it's, because Henry VIII, I think that's the one who got all the divorces. I'm pretty sure he's the one who like made everybody Protestant in England. What a fucking crackpot. Yeah, but that's the thing about, Henry. There are like at least 8 Henrys, probably more. So it's like, oh, there was a bad Henry here, but that's a really good Henry. That's a really good Henry. It's kind of a mid Henry. There's just one King John, and apparently he's awful. So he began his reign in 1199. From what I understand about some reading that I did, he was actually left a lot of inflation. He was left a very costly foreign policy, and by the time that his father King Henry II and his brother Richard the Lionheart got done ruling, it sounds like a bunch of his like earls and barons were very sussed out by this whole king thing at that point. There are some eras in history where I think that like the people believe that the king is one with God. I don't think King John was one of those kings. People actually. So this is a fun thing about King John. When King John was crowned, he was crowned King of England. I believe Duke of Normandy, Count of Anjou, Overlord of Ireland, and I think Duke of Aquitaine, and within 5 years, I'm pretty sure, of getting... actually, I don't know. I don't know this exact timeline. But anyway, between when he starts ruling and the First Barons' War, which starts in 1215, he actually ends up getting all of his lands stripped of him. Specifically the Count Anjou and Duke of Normandy. And so the earls, from what I understand, start calling him King John Lackland, because he lacks land. So, but what's this guy's problem, right? Like, what's really wrong with him? Honestly, I would chalk it up. I seem to, well, okay, actually, there is more stuff wrong with him. Apparently, he had a habit. And this isn't exclusive to him, though, so maybe this is, like, what was wrong with, like, that specific type of king. He actually had a habit of, like, like, basically pretend marrying people for their lands, right? Like, getting like, women and, like, lords to promise their daughters to him so he could, like, strip them of their lands. He did that. He actually did that to one Isabella de Clare, who... is no Isabella Fitzrobert. Sorry. He did that to Isabella Fitzrobert to take her lands in Glamorgan. Luckily her sister was able to get the lands back at one point, only when Isabella died. But yeah, John had a habit of pretending to marry people basically for their land, and that made a lot of people mad. He ended up taking the wife of a French duke, or count, I'm not sure which. Hugh de Lusignan. I'm not good at the names yet, so catch up. That's actually he stole Hugh de Lusignan's wife, well, betrothed. They weren't married yet, and that actually got King Philip to ask for John in court, and then John didn't show up to court, and that's how all of his lands got taken away. That's what made him John Lackland. So ultimately, I got 30 seconds to wrap this up. I'd say that his real problem is just being a womanizer. Treat your women well, King John Lackland, you loser. If you say you're gonna marry someone, don't just do it for their lands. That's despicable. You make me sick. I'm glad you were the only King John, you freak. Alright, okay, and we're about to play the outro song. I got a new outro song. Sorry for Saturday's outro if that was a bit jarring. Like and subscribe. I gotta get better at saying that. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like, subscribe, and maybe comment. Comment if you want to. And we're done. Thanks for watching.